The weekly Run for Their Lives demonstration was a familiar sight. Pro-Israel supporters gathered regularly in Boulder, Colorado. They marched on Pearl Street. Their purpose was to show solidarity. On Sunday, June 1, 2025, this peaceful assembly turned into a scene of terror. The day was also Shavuot, a Jewish holiday. This fact added a painful layer to the violence. The community was unprepared for the horror that would soon erupt in their midst, shattering the Sunday calm. The attack began with shocking speed. Mohammed Sabri Solomon, aged 45, appeared among the demonstrators. He carried a makeshift flamethrower. He also wielded firebombs, later identified as Molotov cocktails. Witnesses heard him shouting, "Free Palestine." Flames suddenly engulfed parts of the demonstration. Panic spread instantly. People ran for safety. The peaceful protest transformed into a scene of chaos and fear. The bright Colorado day was darkened by smoke and cries of pain. Solomon used a weed sprayer filled with gasoline. He also had numerous Molotov cocktails. Authorities later found 16 unused devices on his person. Another 14 were discovered in a plastic bin nearby. This indicated a plan for a much larger assault. The initial moments were terrifying. Demonstrators, many of them elderly, found themselves targeted by fire. The attack was direct and brutal. It aimed to inflict maximum harm on a civilian gathering. The intent was clear and horrifying. The Federal Bureau of Investigation quickly labeled the incident. It was deemed a terrorist attack. This designation came swiftly. It underscored the gravity of Solomon's actions. The nature of the assault and his declarations pointed to a premeditated act of terror. Boulder Police Chief Stephen Redfern confirmed the initial details. He noted the attacker was not previously known to local police. The city of Boulder, known for its peaceful atmosphere, was thrust into the national spotlight for this hateful act. Mohammed Sabri Solomon was 45 years old. He resided in El Paso County. This is about 100 miles south of Boulder. He was a married man. He had 5 children. Before the attack, Solomon worked as an Uber driver. He began this job in the spring of 2023. Uber confirmed he had passed a background check. His account was terminated following the attack. He was not on any police radar prior to this violent act. This made his sudden emergence as a terrorist attacker even more shocking. Solomon's motive was chillingly clear. He told investigators his intentions directly. He wanted to kill all Zionist people. He expressed a wish that they were all dead. He believed they were trying to take over our land, referring to Palestine. He learned about the Run for Their Lives demonstration through an online search. This highlighted the role of online information in his radicalization and target selection. His hatred was specific and deeply felt, driving him to commit this violent act. He showed no remorse for his actions. The attack was not a spontaneous event. Solomon confessed to planning it for a year. He waited for his daughter to graduate before carrying it out. This detail suggested a disturbing level of patience and determination. He learned to make Molotov cocktails from instructions found on the internet. He had initially tried to purchase a gun. When he was unable to do so, he resorted to incendiary devices. He purchased 87-octane gasoline on the day of the attack. This demonstrated his resourcefulness in acquiring weapons. Solomon's immigration status became a point of contention. He entered the United States in August 2022. He used a B-2 tourist visa. This visa expired in February 2023. He had applied for asylum in 2022. His asylum claim was likely still pending at the time of the attack. This is common due to large backlogs. Attorney General Pam Bondi described him as an illegal alien perpetrator. Reports from CBS News and Fox News identified him as an Egyptian national. His status added another dimension to the unfolding investigation. The attack left 12 people injured. Their ages ranged from 52 to 88 years old. The victims suffered burns of varying severity. Some were serious, others were minor. Initially, 8 victims were reported. 4 more came forward later. The physical and psychological trauma inflicted was immense. The quiet Sunday march turned into a fight for survival. The innocence of the event was brutally violated. The community reeled from the news of the injuries sustained by its members. Among the injured, at least 2 required specialized care. They were flown to a hospital in Aurora. They remained hospitalized as of Monday, June 2, 2025. One particularly poignant detail emerged about an 88-year-old victim. This individual was a Holocaust refugee. To survive one atrocity only to be targeted by hate again decades later was a cruel irony. This fact highlighted the persistent and recurring nature of anti-Semitic violence. The victims represented a peaceful group targeted for their identity and beliefs. Lisa Turnquist, a 66-year-old regular attendee, witnessed the horror. She had seen Solomon moments before the attack. She noted he looked out of place. He was wearing landscaping clothing and carrying a sprayer. When flames erupted, Turnquist saw an elderly woman's legs on fire. She acted quickly and bravely. She used a towel from her dog Jake's stroller to smother the flames. She stated it took 8 people to fully extinguish the fire on that one victim. Her courage stood in stark contrast to the attackers' hate. Authorities responded rapidly to the scene. Boulder police were credited with a quick response. Their actions likely prevented Solomon from using more of his firebombs. FBI Special Agent in charge for Denver, Mark Mikulek, praised their swift intervention. Solomon was taken into custody at the scene. He had sustained some injuries during the incident. He was taken to a hospital before being booked into jail. The immediate containment of the threat was crucial in preventing further casualties. Mohammed Sabri Solomon faces severe legal consequences. The Department of Justice swiftly charged him with a federal hate crime. Attorney General Pam Bondi stated he would be held accountable. He also faces several state-level charges. These include attempted murder, assault, and possession of an incendiary device. More charges are expected as the investigation continues. Acting U.S. Attorney for Colorado, J. Bishop Gruhl, confirmed the federal charge. Gruhl stated Solomon acted because he hated what he called the Zionist group. Solomon's first court appearance was scheduled. He was due back in court on June 5, 2025. Judge Nancy Salamone set his bond at $10 million. This high amount reflected the severity of the charges and the perceived danger he posed. The legal process is just beginning. However, the swift charges and strong statements from officials signaled a determined effort to seek justice. The case will be closely watched. It serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of hate-fueled violence. This attack in Boulder is not an isolated incident. It fits into a broader, troubling trend of rising anti-Semitic violence. Colorado Governor Jared Polis remarked on this pattern. He stated, "Hate is unacceptable in our Colorado for all. The Israel-Hamas war, ongoing for 20 months, has fueled anti-Semitic hate crimes globally." An April ADL report indicated that reports of anti-Semitism incidents rose for a second consecutive year in 2024. This context underscores the deep anxieties within Jewish communities. The impact on the Boulder community has been profound. The Boulder Jewish Community Center tightened security for its summer camp programs. The annual Boulder Jewish Festival is scheduled for the upcoming weekend on the Pearl Street Mall. Governor Polis has been in contact with Jewish Family Services about increased security for this event. This attack occurred less than 2 weeks after 2 Israeli embassy aides were fatally shot in Washington, D.C., by a man also chanting "Free Palestine." These events create an atmosphere of fear, yet also galvanize community resilience and determination.